We recognize Senator King, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Walters, Putin has been talking for years about his ostensible claims to Ukraine and the part of Russia and all those kinds of things. And one of his principal strategic goals seems to be a land bridge between Russia and Crimea. Are they making similar noises about Kaliningrad? And is this something we need to be concerned about, or do they accept that Kaliningrad is essentially landlocked from the east?
Sir, with respect to Kaliningrad, it's something we should always be concerned about, but over the course of the last 4 to 5 months, that has not been an issue with respect to Russian activity.
Thank you. Quick question. Speed of shipments from the time the order is given in Washington to authorize equipment to Ukraine, how long does it take to get to the Polish-Ukrainian border?
Senator, it depends. We've been iterating on this. It's improving, and we've seen cases, for example, with a large armored brigade combat team that we've been able to transact that in weeks as opposed to months. So
that's improving, and these are timely shipments. The Ukrainians need this equipment right now, not a month from now.
It's improving. We have cases with smaller force elements where it would take 28 to 30 days, and in many of those cases, we're down to single-digit days and less than a week.
I'm not talking about necessarily force elements, but materiel, weapons.
That falls into the same category.
Same category. Okay. We heard at the beginning of the invasion that there were something like 200,000 Russian troops in Belarus and in Russia. They've committed many, if not all of those. What reserves do the Russians now have? In other words, what portion of their entire military force, in terms of people, have been committed to Ukraine at this point? And what level of reserves do they have to call upon?
Sir, in a different setting, I can give you a precise number, but in the 70 to 75% category are devoted to this from a Russian perspective at this time.
So a very substantial proportion of their total force is committed in Ukraine. Can the Ukrainians succeed in the east as they have around Kiev by they're going to redeploy in that direction too, I presume, since the Russians are doing so? Do the tactics that they've been able to use in the north and northeast succeed in stalling the Russians or perhaps even pushing them back?
Senator, I certainly believe that they can succeed in stalling the Russians.
Okay. I understand the comment, but they have the Ukrainians improved over the course of the past month in their terms of use of the weapons and tactics. They seem to have shown significant success in the last week or two.
Absolutely, Senator. The Ukrainian armed forces show a very, very positive learning curve. Hence, I'm optimistic about being able to force additional stalling on behalf of the Russians.
Let me change the subject for a minute. I'm concerned that Russia falls into a number of different COCOMs, and the Arctic. And I'm concerned about coordination between the various COCOMs that have a piece of the Arctic defense, because Russia is certainly militarizing on their shore of the Arctic. What steps are there, or do you feel that there's sufficient coordination to the whole idea of a COCOM is somebody's in charge, and if you've got three COCOMs that have a piece of the Arctic jurisdiction, do you feel it's sufficiently well coordinated to respond to a Russian action in the Arctic?
As you're well aware, Senator, in 2019 we established NORTHCOM as the capability advocate for DoD, and in his responsibility today, General Van Herk is doing a tremendous job of orchestrating the supported relationships with the other COCOMs to the point to where all of us have plans for the Arctic, being held accountable to support those plans so that we can improve our indications and warnings on our command and control and our mission capability.
So NORTHCOM has the lead?
NORTHCOM is the capability advocate for DoD for the Arctic.
I've never heard the term capability advocate. Does that mean they're in charge?
In so many areas it does, especially when it comes to capabilities, which is ever so important for us in the military to deliver the appropriate effect in the environment.
General, I have some questions for the record on Transcom. The two specifically are cyber resiliency, which you've cited as a potential problem, or not a potential, but a serious problem, and also what lessons Transcom has learned from the Ukraine experience, a kind of preliminary after-action review, if you will. I'll submit those for the record. Thank you very much, General.
Thank you, Senator King.